You know what I want to see? You know what I want to see at the Korean qualifier? I want
see?
Maru, puppy. Where's Maru?
Maru,
Ah.
He keeps signing up, but he doesn't check in. He never checks in, papi.
Mate, we need to see it. For the narrative, I need him there. I need him to lose. For the narrative.
What's wrong with you? These goddamn Terran players. Oh, God.
We've got to show that these new maps are not balanced. They're Zerg maps. They're always Zerg maps.
Ay. Speaking of Zerg maps, here we are. We're diving into our second series of the night. We are following Miguelito here in round 2.
And would you like me to intro the first player?
Go for it.
Alright, so spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for the Shopify Rebellion, it is the Zerg player, Scarlett.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the American Terran player himself. He just took down Nina 2-0. He is representing one of the best teams in the entire world, the CranKy Ducklings. It is Vindicta.
No bias, no bias.
No bias.
The team that's saving esports.
We're totally not going to be smudging when Scarlett wins. Oh, God. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. As you said, a really stacked side, a little bit of an unlucky side for Vindicta. 2 very top tier players already in the first 2 rounds. But at least we get to see a little bit more variety and the breadth of what Vindicta has to offer and how much he has improved since DreamHack Valencia, the regionals.
Mate, give us the hardest challenge because he's going to show you what he's made of. I believe. No bias.
Let's go, mate. Let's go. So far, nothing too crazy here. There's been no proxy Raxes, nothing like that. We have an SCV scout, so nothing cheesy to start things off with.
Yeah, definitely not surprised to see fairly standard openings coming out from both players. They're both going to have a lot of respect for each other based off the games that they've already had, so I would expect to see at least the early game go pretty standard.
Yeah, I would expect that as well. I mean, you were saying yourself that they do practice together from time to time, so I doubt they would like do each other dirty like that. You know, I'm sure they're good friends as well. I don't know what would happen to that friendship if someone decided to like proxy Rax them each other or something like that. So,
mate, as long as he's not making BCs and mech units, friendship intact.
True. He knows. Oh, God. I think it's important that you touched on that as well. I don't really think Vindicta is too much of a mech enjoyer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was in the meta for a small while as Mario had his little stint with it, but I haven't really been seeing it that much recently. I think a lot of people tried it out and sort of decided that it's not good, to be frank. So, yeah, for the moment, I would definitely expect to see Bio for all 3 games, but you never know, he might mix things up, especially if the first game doesn't go his way. I'd expect him to change things up a little bit. So far, yeah, just a very standard build. We are seeing 2 gas out of him, so probably slightly more aggressive than a 3cc build, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to point out here is that we don't see a 3cc before Starport. It is a more straight up 1-1-1 variant, and he is going for the add-on swap, or I imagined he is.
Psych?
No, never mind.
Going for the caster fake out, and it looks like probably just an early stim and a liberator push. So this is a pretty standard way to play the 2cc. I love this dive against Scarlett as well. She very typically goes for the clash opening, which delays the link speed, so you can get a bit of damage here.
Yeah, exactly. I did force a little bit of lost mine time, but was unable to get into that mineral line. Very nice reaction there by Scarlett. She threw down that Evo chamber very quickly, forced some SimCity, and it looks like she will be able to clean up the Hellions at least.
Yeah, very well done. You're usually hoping to get 2 or 3 drones with that push there, so not ideal, but he does get a little bit of scouting as well, and just gets out with the Reaper alive.
Oh, yeah. At least he does have that going for him. He still has plenty more Hellions where that came from, so he still has that map control. He can still force or at least keep that creep in check for the time being. Oh, and yeah, from here, still got that third CC on the way, so he's not going all in or anything crazy like that. I guess the big question is whether or not he does end up going for that brick later on.
Yeah, so third CC on the way. We are going to see him looking for probably a little bit of damage with this 1-1 push. One of the disadvantages with the 2cc builds is you do need to get a little bit of damage to be on par with the Zerg players, especially a player like Scarlett, who is quite aggressive with her droning. So if you don't get a bit of damage early, the game can get away from you quite quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what that can get done once the E-base finish up, once the upgrades finish up as well. What's interesting is that we did see Liberator hit that natural base. No drone kills though. Scarlett was very quick to respond to it. Vindicta being even really conservative with the Liberator, only sieging up at the gas geyser, kind of respecting Scarlett's ability to respond, and at least Vindicta does keep that lib alive.
So lib alive delays the gas mining for quite a while, and we do see that Scarlett, she did delay that Sporg by quite a long time, which let the lib stay there for a while, and no spore in the main either, so definitely she's getting away with as much as she can.
Yeah, very greedy here. We can see her just continuing to drone up as well, relying a lot on these queens to defend against these Hellions. I think what's interesting as well is that Vindicta wasn't really quite able to see the Evo chambers. They're in a pretty interesting place, so he doesn't really have full information. I mean, he did see that there was no gas in that natural, so I guess there shouldn't really be any kind of possibility for, like, I don't know, fast mutas in Vindicta's mind, hopefully.
Yeah, it's usually quite on top with his scouting for the mutas and stuff like that, but you do expect a lot of the time with Scarlett, knowing that she does come in as a favorite. She does usually prefer to play a more standard Ling Bane greedy style, and I'm sure Vindicta will have prepared accordingly as well for that.
Yeah, I would assume so. As here we go, we do see the army coming across the map. 1-1 is still a ways off, not too long though, so he wants to hit a little bit before that. Is going to be able to clear up a lot of this creep and does force a lot of banelings here out of Scarlett.
Yeah, this is a nice timing with this double drop here, so as opposed to something like a tank push, this is quite nice as it's also low commitment. You can get everything out in the medevacs if things start to get a little bit out of control, so yeah, forces a good number of banelings, does a bit of damage, but this counter attack is very well timed.
Yeah, unfortunately the Widowmine wasn't able to burrow in time. This push has to deal that much more damage now. He is getting quite a number of queens, and again, baneling speed is still not done, so the micro here, the control is pretty good from Vindicta, but those links, they're coming back.
Yeah, beautiful micro there, just dancing right on the edge. Oh, and lovely retarget from the mine. Gets a huge amount of banelings there. And yeah, so this push does get pushed back, but he does save a lot of the units, and as long as he can defend this counterattack, not in too bad of a position.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, a couple of Widowmine shots. Oh my god!
Huge. I think we saw another retarget there with the mine. Beautiful stuff there.
Exactly. The defense has been on point. Vindicta also didn't lose too many workers. Quickly looking at the units lost tab. In that push, he was able to kill a lot of the army. He got 4 queens as well. That will help, especially when it comes to the creep in this area. So he may not have dealt too much economic damage, but he traded incredibly well. Yeah,
I mean, considering the start, for the suppliers to be this close now, actually shows how well he traded in those few little skirmishes. And nice scan here, just trying to find out exactly what's up. Sees everything, so he's going to know that he's up against the Hydra Ling Bane, the double upgrades, and he should be able to start with this split pushing now.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of a baneling run by. Once again, nice reaction here from Vindicta. He will lose 4 SCVs and a lot of lost mining time, but again, it could have been a lot worse here. Meanwhile, here we go. He can now focus on that aggression across the map, just clearing up whatever creep he can, you know, just poking and prodding, and at least he's well aware of the potential of lurkers in the near future.
Oh. Yeah, nice snipes on the Banes there, and picks up, gets everything out, so we are going to be looking for him to just take good trades for the moment. Not going to be able to get too much damage, but just going to trade and slowly chip away.
Yeah, something that I'm a little bit concerned about is that he's doing a great job at, like, clearing up creep here on the edges of the map, but in the middle, that creep is going a little bit uncontested. Like, it's already getting across the map. It's already kind of approaching the bases of Vindicta.
Yeah, I remember even before creep spread was such a common thing for players to be so good at. It was something that Scarlett was really well known for, and It's something that, a bit of a moniker of her, something you always expect in her games is this fantastic creep spread. And especially on a map like this, it can feel really oppressive having this creep all the way up to your bases.
Yeah, I can imagine. And thankfully, Vindicta is clearing up as much of it as he can. There's still a decent amount of it here on the right-hand side, though. Again, Scarlett pushing towards that third base. She was even able to force a pickup earlier. Not the amazing Widowmine shots that we saw as we would have wanted to see. So far, Vindicta, his pushes have been deflected.
Yeah, so just the TVZ dance going on here. They're just going to be pushing on both sides. Beautiful multitasking from both players to have to basically be microing two sides at once. And it's just going to come down to whoever can trade better, which the mines are really going to help with.
Oh, exactly. But for one moment, Vindicta was not looking at his army. The drop on the right-hand side was pounced upon. The Banelings do find their connections. At the same time, Vindicta is going for a bit of a drop, but the target fire and
GG's call. Yeah, I mean, with an opening like that, honestly, it was Scarlett's game to lose. But you can really see when you push yourself with these micro multitasking situations like this, all it takes is one mistake, and suddenly you can be losing on both sides, and the game can just fall apart.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Vindicta, his army was split up the way that you were saying, and the drop on the outside of the map, I believe, was about to be intercepted as well. And for him to lose basically both of his small armies, his army basically, and we even saw the supply disparity in the end there. Scarlett was up, like, she was maxed, and then she was up like 70 supply. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these difficulties, especially with the 2cc start. He is behind economically if he doesn't manage to get a bit of damage at the start, and any loss can just make the game spiral out of control from that point.
Yeah, it really can. GG there for game number 1. Ooh. But I'm sure, we're going to see maybe some differing styles here. An interesting map, as we actually have Berlingrad for game 2.
Yeah, from one Terran map to another, Copium.
True. For Scarlett to be able to overcome the balance and overcome the map, that was, again, very impressive there from the side of Scarlett. We'll see if she can do it again.
We know only the most talented of players who just happen to be the ones that choose Zerg as well are the ones that can overcome these imbalanced maps. So very, very impressive.
I mean, there's a reason why, Raynor, he recently switched to Protoss and he beat Hero Marine as well, like...
Oh, no.
They're just better players. But
all right. Speaking of the more talented Zerg players, in the bottom right-hand corner, starting the series up 1-0, playing for the Shopify Rebellion, we have Scarlett.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the American Terran player himself, representing the CranKy Ducklings. Currently down 0-1 in this series. Can he bring it back? It is Vindicta.
So, coming in here on Berlingrad, definitely hoping to see something a little bit different. That 2cc style, definitely something difficult, especially when you're not necessarily favored in a series, because you do have to get that damage early. So I'm hoping he has something a little bit different prepared from this map. I did see Epic had quite a lot of success with the BC opener into the 8 racks, so that kind of thing would be something I'd definitely love to see coming out from Vindicta, but I'm sure he has a plan.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for the most part, I agree that, like, going for a 3rd CC build sounds like a tall task as well, to try to go, like, toe-to-toe macro-wise with your opponents if you do feel like as if there's a bit of a skill difference. So I don't blame him for trying to be a little bit more aggressive. And I agree, like, going for something like a BC opener may work in his favor. Has to be careful though, because I'm sure Scarlett is well aware of her series against Epic, and I'm sure she's a good enough player to be aware of her own weaknesses as well. So it's still going to be a tough order to ask, something difficult to overcome. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Vindicta going for BC. I'm not playing against it. It's fine. It's
it's allowed. It's allowed for sure. Yeah, but so far, just seeing everything the same as last game so far. We're going to see the the little dance that we love oh so much with the Reaper and the Lings, and we do see that second gas go down again, so it does look like Vindicta is opting to play 2cc once again.
Okay, so another kind of 2cc build here. I mean, maybe on a map like Berlingrad, he can find a little bit more success. Maybe he has a little bit more confidence on a smaller map. I mean, you know, time will tell, as we do see that dance between the players so far. And yeah, Vindicta just, you know, just testing his opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that might factor in here is he might be thinking that she might be looking for a Roach build on such a short map. With this being the shortest rush distance in the pool, you do sometimes see some Roach pressures coming out from the Z players, and going for 2cc does set you up for some early Banshees if that's what you choose to do for some safety.
Yeah, it definitely would make sense. As once again, he is going for that 1-1-1. This time, is he going to fake us out and lift the racks and actually not go for the switch again? We'll see, especially because these buildings are relatively far apart here.
Yeah, it does seem more likely that he might be going for the same kind of opening, but we do see the racks become airborne once again, and it looks like we do have the slot. So yeah, I'm thinking might just be a Banshee in the with safety in mind.
Yeah, I imagine so. And there we go. We do have that Banshee on the way here. So Vindicta just playing it relatively safe. I say safe. Obviously, you know, Banshees can still deal a lot of damage. The Marines are doing a great job at just keeping this Overlord hidden here or stuck outside of the bases. So Scarlett, actually, never mind. Looking at the vision, she actually did see the add-on swap. Oh my god.
Yeah, she did. Right as we were talking before, she did get a Ling up to the top of the ramp. It didn't get inside, but it looks like from the edge of the ramp it was able to see the add-ons.
Oh my god. So a pretty crucial scout here for Scarlett. So now she's fully aware of the potential for Banshees. So now she should be getting ready, focusing on her queens, maybe even getting a couple of spores. We saw that she was being pretty greedy in the last game, so she may try and cut some corners. So maybe there's potential for some damage, but nah, there we go. Spores are thrown down. Yeah,
already seeing 2 spores. She's definitely on top of her scouting and knows exactly what she can and can't get away with. Yeah, pretty good job there with the 1 Ling scout, the famous Oreo scout. Shout out to Oreo.
Come back to us, come back.
He'll be back one day.
Go Beers. Oh god. But yeah, because of that, she is pretty well set up for all of this. She's keeping up with these Hellions as well with the rotations. She has full vision of everything that's going on. The Banshee is on the way. And we actually have a commitment here. We have a second Banshee that's going to be meeting up here. So even though we have some spores, the one-shot potential for workers will be there.
Yeah, she's really done a marvelous job protecting this creep as well. Being able to track these Hellions back and forth, and actually barely lost a creep tumor at all, which is really impressive.
Yeah, only a single tumor going down. That's pretty insane. That's absolutely insane. Jesus Christ. But the Banshees are now here, you know, chipping away at that 4th base. At least they are well aware of its location. They go into the main, but the Queens are keeping up, and Vindicta is having a hard time finding damage. Yeah,
this Queen split is really good. The Queen's shooing the Banshee this way and that, and the Lings catching out the Hellions here. Oh, this is a disaster for Vindicta.
Oh, every single Hellion goes down. The Reaper as well. These Banshees, they need to get something done. And it looks like, you know, they're going to get a couple of drones. Finally, they do slip on through, but they are revealed. They are now more vulnerable to these Queens. They have to be that much more careful.
Yeah, nice target fire there. Does manage to find a little bit of a gap in the defense of the Scarlett and pick off the Queen. So not bad damage at all.
Yeah, exactly, especially because it looks like he will be able to escape. Queens are going to try and intercept, so Vindicta has to be a little bit careful. Oh, God!
Puppy, please? Does lose 1 Banshee, but honestly, 5 drones and a Queen, really good damage for getting 1 Banshee out. So paying 1 Banshee for that, I think he'll take that, but at the same time, he is a little bit behind here, and Scarlett will know that she can drone quite aggressively, having cleaned up those Hellions.
Yeah, that's the thing to bear in mind. It wasn't just trading everything there for a Banshee. He lost the Hellions as well, which may even be more important, to be honest. So we'll see if Vindicta can try and overcome that. He is now here with that double drop to going to clear up as much of the creep as possible. A decent amount of tumors here with that 1 scan, but the pressure is on here to try and keep Scarlett in check and try and keep her drone count in check, as she's already up to 75.
Yeah, so he's just going to try to shave off a few lings, get rid of a little bit of the creep, but at the same time, yeah, this is definitely a difficult spot for him again. Nice scan. Manages to scan exactly on top of the Hydra Den again.
Yeah,
He just knows, man.
He just knows, mate. He does know what tech is going, Scarlett is going for. So very reminiscent of the previous game as well. So more of the same, nothing crazy to worry about. Meanwhile, a lot of creep is being cleaned up. So at least, you know, again, he actually is able to clear up a lot of this, but the Queens of Scarlett aren't too far behind to just respread it.
Yeah, you can see she is pretty much just tracking his movements with the same queens, and that creep is barely receding, but this is just the dance that you have to play with TVZ, and that's why it's such a mechanical matchup, because both players basically fighting over the same objectives all over the map.
Pretty much, mate, pretty much. And so far, Scarlett is at that halfway point here with that creep. Meanwhile, just outside of range of the creep, we do see one drop headed across the map. Yo, this space is looking pretty vulnerable, low HP. It looks like Vindicta is going for it. At the same time, looking to try and go for that second base of Scarlett, but backs off, goes for the creep instead. Oh!
Yeah, kill not a cancel. Very nice there. Keeping track of both the expansions. And I think he's going to take out this expansion in the top right as well. Does get shoot away by the Ling Bane, but...
Oh, yeah, has to be careful here because we do have some Hydras, but the drops do get away. Base getting to around half HP, so that is going to be vulnerable to another drop. And meanwhile, Vindicta tried to keep on going into the main base, but... Oh, God, does get swatted away. Oh, but... What?
Yeah, really nice job getting that medevac out though, especially with the spores there. Looks like there was some good reaction times there to keep that alive.
Yeah, very good reaction time. Somehow slips out of the clutches of these Hydras as well. Scarlett tries to hunt him down, but this time Vindicta is able to escape. At the same time, the double drop from earlier also trying to get in, is able to avoid those Hydras. The Banshee finally gets cleaned up.
Yeah, this creep is getting out of control now, and Scarlett already up to 6 bases. We're seeing Vindicta, he's got his 4th on the way, he's got his extra 3 barracks on the way, 2-2 finishing up. So he is going to have a timing coming up here where he does need to do a little bit of damage, but this game is definitely Scarlett's to lose once again.
Oh, exactly, and Scarlett wants to push in. She is basically maxed at this point. Lurker Den is on the way. She's just working with Ling, Bane, Hydra for the time being. Looks like these drops are keeping her busy though, and Vindicta does need to keep her busy until his upgrades do finish up. But again, she wants to fight soon. She wants to push in. She's here ready to deny that 4th.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary army, and with the economy that she has, she'll definitely be looking to trade out a little bit. But really nice trades there from Vindicta. Basically doesn't lose anything and manages to shave off quite a lot of the banelings.
Yeah, very nicely done. At the same time, he still has that double drop. Has to be careful. There are Hydras all over the place. A lot of Lings as well. I don't see this drop doing too much here, but at least he's able to keep it alive for the time being. Gets his 4th up and running. Can get his sensor tower as well. But the big question is, sure, he gets the 4th. I think he's going to be stuck on 4 bases for a little bit. Like, oh, this creep everywhere else, puppy.
Yeah, and there's a hive coming up, and do you see that building next to the hive? Do you see it?
The Evo chamber.
Yes, the fear of all Terran players, the Evo chamber.
The Lunkers are coming out, your favorite unit, puppy. Thankfully, Scarlett is maxed out. She actually can't really make too many Lurkers right now until a fight happens. But uh-oh, no, Vindicta, he's clearing up supply.
The counter to Zerg is to never kill anything, so they're stuck on Ling Bane.
True. Oh god, the Lurker upgrades are on the way. Vipers as well, even the double Nidus. Oh, Vindicta, will he be able to defend against this? Does he have himself set up here in his main even, as there are a couple of blind spots here that maybe Scarlett can try and abuse.
Yeah, we see the Nidus, we see the Vipers, we see Adrenal coming, both Lurker upgrades queued up, and Scarlett is basically just getting everything she wants right now.
Yeah, exactly. Even gets that sensor tower as well, so it's just going to be a little bit more hard pressed to defend against his space. Speaking of defending against his space, Creep is literally at his doorstep. Oh god.
The Creep is closing in. This map is becoming purple as it does in many Scarlett games, and it's a very difficult spot here for Vindicta now. It's going to be an uphill battle to try to take a 5th.
Thankfully, he's working on nukes, and nukes are a great way to zone out the army, but this is scary. We do have the Overseers going to the main base. Those Niduses are looking primed to get in, and I don't know if... Okay, Vindicta, his camera did just pan over in that area. He is going to deal with those, with that detection.
Yeah, sends a drop straight up. Obviously seeing 2 or 3 overseers just zooming through your base. Bit sus. You should have some idea that something's going on there, unless they're trying to drop 18 changelings into your base. But yeah, we do see the lurkers morphing in.
Yeah, he has to be careful not to overcommit here because he's got 3 drops right now kind of lurking about, but the main army is looking to try and hit this 4th base. We do have a sensor tower, so Vindicta is well aware of that. He's trying to sneak out, but again, like the map is literally purple. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's vision absolutely everywhere, and we do see Scarlett committing to a fight here. A lot of banelings rolling in.
A lot of banelings indeed. Meanwhile, we do have a Nidus in that main base. Double drop does hit the 4th, but there's an army to meet it. The drop isn't going to do too much damage whatsoever. Oh, and the Nidus gets cleaned up.
Yeah, the Nidus is cleaned up. We see nukes going down everywhere, drops here and there, and this game is going crazy right now. Both these players very fast, very great multitasking. Oh, let's go.
The nuke does connect. 15 workers go down at once. Another nuke here at the 3rd base. This time Scarlett looks like she does have eyes on the... Oh, does she see? Does she know? Oh, she's waiting for the spore. Ah!
Yeah, she does evacuate that just in time. Things could have got pretty dicey there, but yeah, this is one of Vindicta's great strengths is the multitasking, so it's good to see him forcing so many things happening all over the map all at once. And like a fast player like Scarlett, you wouldn't think that forcing these multitasking situations would be something that you would want, but you can really see the caliber of the player Vindicta is in. Yeah. How much you can have going on at once.
Exactly, and because of all these nukes, he was able to get some breathing room. Essentially, he was able to force Scarlett back home, and now he is looking to expand. It's still going to be a tough ask. Don't get us wrong. I also want to praise Vindicta because earlier he even sniped 2 Vipers before they did anything. It was insane to see him pull that off. We do see a drop here towards the bottom left, takes out a base, drills away a lot of the army, and again, he is landing that 5th.
Yeah, getting this 5th up is huge, especially with the creep right there. And we do see a very large baneling force, but Vindicta is non-stop with this harassment.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, Scarlett is well aware of the threat of the 5th base. She knows that she cannot let this get up and running. The banelings are rolling on in. Oh, God, okay, but she does pull back in the end. Vindicta still struggling to get this up. Creep is once again being spread actively here by Scarlett.
Yeah, this creep is going to be a real pain to get rid of with that force there, because suddenly Scarlett doesn't have as much... she doesn't as much need to do damage right away. She can just deny this 5th.
Yeah, she knows that this is her main objective right now. At the same time, we see another Nidus in the main base. Thankfully, there are Marines here to respond if Vindicta notices in time. Another drop towards the bottom left does take out another base. Oh, got a nuke here, but Scarlett does recognize, and this Nidus is getting up.
Yeah, the Nidus gets up, the lurkers come in, and this is a really difficult situation to deal with, especially with the baneling force still on the right side. He's going to know that he can't send everything back up into the main, just a small force.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, see another nuke here. Oh, 7 drones are going to go down. So the nukes are dealing damage, and the tanks are keeping these lurkers in this corner of the map. Is this going to be enough, though? Because, again, Scarlett, oh, gosh, all she cares about right now is denying the 5th.
Yeah, so with that distraction up in the main, we are seeing a huge Ling Bane attack coming in on the right here, and pretty well dealt with so far, but losing those tanks, it's a big problem with that gas already being spent on nukes.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, in the main base, lurkers are finally forced all the way back, but we see a second Nidus coming out as well. Again, Vindicta forced to keep a lot of supply here in that main base. Oh, but he's slowly dealing with this. You know, things are calming down, and finally he can clean up these overseers.
Yeah, small group of the tank, the libs, and the ghosts in there should be everything he needs to deal with lurkers. So just splitting off his units quite well here and surviving, really just surviving.
Survive, that's all he has to do right now, and he is doing it. Unfortunately, the hopes and dreams of taking this 5th base, it's no longer there anymore. The creep is well in control here. It's going to take that much longer to try and get it up and running, so Vindicta is slowly being starved out.
Yeah, so the supplies are pretty close, but the bank definitely favors Scarlett, especially that gas bank. That's something really important in this matchup, and it's, yeah, like you said, going to be really difficult, but a big fight coming in here.
Yeah, exactly, but the SimCity is looking pretty good. The Banelings are having a hard time connecting. She's gonna try and push on in, but she cannot get on top of those ghosts.
Yeah, she'll settle for the Liberators here, but Vindicta does manage to push it back, and he doesn't lose the ghosts, which is really important. These ghosts are, with his gas bank, something that he can't really replace now, so he has to be very careful not to lose them.
Yeah, I think that's something very important you bring up here, is that there is no gas bank. Oh, the ghost is going to get taken out. We have very little gas here. It's so important for Vindicta to try and get these geysers up. We'll see if he can do so, though, because again, Scarlett is just so on point with rebuilding, remaxing. It's interesting that again, she's not relying at all on lurkers right now. She's relying a lot more on a more mobile army. She's coming in.
Yeah, flanking from the left and right with Lings and Banelings. Hydra's coming in, Queen's coming in, even Spine Crawler's coming in, and I think this might be the beginning of the end for Vindicta.
Yeah, exactly. She finally breaks on through all this SimCity, breaks the third base as well, barely survives being lifted up. We see Vindicta trying to force this back, but again, he has no anchor point. The Banelings, ooh, connect
beautiful
well.
job there by Scarlett to just burrow the Banelings nearby to bring them back out after it looks like they were gone. Really cute little trick there, but yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point how well Vindicta trades. As long as he's losing things and not getting his fifth, it's just... these trades are just going to get worse and worse until it's over, and I think the next fight might be that.
And I love this, but this is so impressive as well. Because of the mineral bank, Scarlett even gets a wall of spines here to bring that into play as well. Just to support her army, just to maintain the control here at this fifth base. Vindicta is pushing on forward, though, slowly with his Liberator, so he is actually gaining ground. At the same time, there was another attempted Nidus in the main base, but Vindicta does deal with that. But I don't know if he just has enough supply here to cover all his bases.
Yeah, I mean, you can see even with the nuke coming down to spread to clear the creep up there, he's desperate to get this fifth base up. Knows that if he doesn't get it up in the next minute or so, there's no way he can win this game. But it does look like he has it landed now.
Yeah, it looks like it has landed here on location. At the same time, we have those Niduses coming up in the main base. Tanks and Libs are in position, so it looks like these Niduses are going to get cleaned up, as well as these lurkers. But at the same time, Scarlett hits the fifth.
Yeah, not a bad trade, but Scarlett doesn't need to trade well here. She just needs to deny this fifth, and she has created enough space for herself, getting rid of those lids to push in here. And yeah, we are going to see this get pushed back but yeah, GG is called.
GG, we can see there the mineral bank of Vindicta did run out. He was broke, he just couldn't afford to keep it up anymore. Scarlett takes the series 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, considering the positions really well fought by Vindicta, we got to see some of his signature nuke harass as well, so that was really cool to see. But if you can't get that fifth up, you will just eventually starve out, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Scarlett had full control of the map. As you were saying, what was impressive is that despite the fact that she had full vision, basically playing with map hacks, Vindicta still got out with those ghosts, still dealt damage, still bought room to attempt and almost successfully get his fifth up and running. Almost. There were a couple of moments though where things got a bit out of hand. There was that one moment where the Niduses did finish in the main base and he had to bring even more supply over to try and deal with those lurkers in that main, and that opened things up for Scarlett to dive on in as well. So there were a couple of moments there where Vindicta did slip up a little bit, but like overall it was still pretty impressive what he could get done despite the scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, considering the starts in both those games, to survive so long, especially in that second game, really impressive and really nice unit splitting, things like that. So we are seeing, I think he is playing pretty well today, and I do have some hopes for him in the lower bracket, but a clinical job by Scarlett just to take her time and create opportunities all over the map and eventually starve him out.
Yeah, GG. Well played. Scarlett moves on to the quarterfinals, where she has her next opponent ready and waiting. He is the man with one of the best names in the entire esports, even the world. She's going up against Max Goddamn Angel.